Hey everyone, this is week 3 of the Confused Zoomer. We had a huge week last week and did really well, and then I didn't upload my new predictions, and I should have, because looking at them, I would have had a 12% return today on Monday. But it's not gonna count! So lesson, always load things up on time. Anyways, lesson learned. Let's get into this week's review. So in general news, the US has released a statement saying that the invasion of Ukraine by Russia could happen at any day now. So again, implications for wartime stocks, but that's something I'd like to stay away from. We're still facing a huge semiconductor shortage in the world. Semiconductors are more valuable than ever. In other news, OPEC said that it wasn't going to increase its supply of oil, and oil prices around the US are steadily increasing. Gas in my area is hitting highs that I haven't seen in a few years, and places are even reporting up to $5 in gas. Gas stocks are starting to look a little more appealing, unfortunately. That's something that hurts everyone in the long run. In other news, there's been huge breakthroughs in technology recently. The first trans-species organ transplant was done, which is the fancy way of saying that we were able to genetically edit the proteins in a pig heart so that a human would accept it. And that human is still alive right now. So genetic companies are looking really on the up and up. In stock announcements for this week, we have some really big ones. We have Pfizer, which is going to be announced tomorrow on Tuesday, and we also have Peloton, which is going to be announced on Tuesday. Peloton is that stock that I've mentioned before that everyone kind of takes for the lockdown pandemic indicator, but it's been getting a lot of traction because there's been some large semi-substantiated rumors that Disney and Amazon and I believe Nike are looking at buying the stock. So its price is up as of today by 22%, which is insane. But its revenue is expected to drop, so more following up on that here soon. Wednesday, Disney and Uber are both going to report. Massive reporting going on here. On Thursday, we have Twitter. Twitter and Facebook have gotten a massive hit this week. Facebook lost about a quarter of its overall value because of Apple's new privacy terms. Essentially, it now asks people if they want companies to be able to track their data and to send it back, and people most of the time say no. And so that really hurts the basic business model of Meta and Twitter and Instagram and most of those companies. So Twitter's reporting is expected to be down on revenues because of that, but it may come up in other ways. Also, on Friday, we have Under Armour reporting. I don't know why, I just kind of like Under Armour. They're a pretty good company, not gonna lie. Alright, so now for the week 2 in review. So we had a great week this week, honestly. Amazon went up quite a bit more due to the reporting than I even initially thought they would. I mean, they're up 7.5%. AMD went up by a very healthy margin here. I mean, we're up 9.14% given when we were initially started, and if you looked at it right now, it's still going up actually. And if you were to take a look at the Taiwanese semiconductor, depending on when you invested in this within the week, you would have actually been able to sell it for pretty nice profit. Like, I talked about buying it around the 31st, which was right here. So 122, rather high. You could have sold it that Wednesday for a nice tidy profit, or you could have held on to it today, which is now currently Monday, and gotten a juicier profit. But overall, looking even on the low end of those numbers, we're looking at a 15% return, which is fantastic. Now with the review done, let's talk about stocks to buy this week. So because I'm recording this late, I was unable to get to huge stocks that really should have been bought yesterday, and actually over the course of today have increased by at least 12%. And those two are the ON Semiconductor, which is up like 8% today, and Chegg, which is up 4%. Both of these companies were reporting today on Monday. And Chegg I was looking at favorably because they kind of beat their last earning, and it's the beginning of college season, which is when a lot of Chegg's customers like go in and buy new things. This is a great time for them to be reporting. They beat their expectations like you would kind of expect for them to during this time. Did great. 4% gain On Semiconductor is another semiconductor company, which is why I was looking at them favorably. They beat their expectations for sales consistently. They did it again today. They're up by 8 or 9%. Unfortunately, the video is not going to be out in time for you guys to do anything with that. And this is just 12% of wasted advice, which is infuriating. Moving along, here are my 4 recommendations for the week. So first is the safe bet, as I like to do. We're looking at Pfizer. So Pfizer announces on Tuesday it has had, insane profits with the COVID vaccine. We're looking at a larger COVID vaccine rollout still being continued, potential of 3rd shots being out there, and it being expanded to 12-year-olds. Pfizer has had a lot of other research continue to do well and favorably for them. They're looking at beating their earning reports from last time. Pfizer is probably going to go up by their report on the end of the day and probably continue to go up by the end of the week by 2 or 3%. Option number 2 is Peloton. So Peloton is kind of like the pandemic stock, as I mentioned. Their sales have been really down since lockdown has effectively ended, but because that they were selling so well and they're kind of at a point of lower sales, Peloton's looking to sell itself, and there are a lot of companies interested in buying. So Peloton is in a weird situation this week where it's expected to report its earnings on Tuesday. Because we're no longer in lockdown, Peloton is expected to have a second drastic crash in its overall revenue, which I was expecting to have mean that it's going to go low in price, and then with Amazon and these other companies talking about buying Peloton on the side, they're probably going to swoop in when the price is low, buy it around then. And that's what a lot of other people, though, were thinking. So as of today, on Monday, Peloton's now up 22% in value, which is ridiculous. Yes, there are rumors that Amazon or Nike or one of those companies are going to buy it, but these are not substantiated. These are rumors. Also, the report's going to come out tomorrow on Peloton's earnings, and it is going to be horrible. So here's my advice. Look at how Peloton's doing tomorrow. Look at its reports and its revenue. Odds are it is going to crash. I don't know when it's going to bottom out, but I would expect that if it starts to go down, people who are buying it because they think Amazon is going to buy it may not be the most on board holding their stock value about the whole Peloton deal. They may drop it now that it's suddenly increased in 22% in value in one day. So I would say wait for that price to go down tomorrow, buy it around that time, and then keep an eye out for that Amazon buyout coming probably relatively soon after that drop. Again, this is all theoretical, but feeling rather confident about that theory. Now for the more unique stocks. So first of the unique stocks is Evolution Petroleum. So what's up with Evolution Petroleum, right? It's going to be reporting this Wednesday on how it did. Its revenue, as you can see here, was just insane in its last quarter. It really crushed it. And with oil prices increasing and these guys being in the market of making oil and gas, its revenue is great. It's got a history of going up in price. My only concern with it is that you're kind of buying it at a relative high here. It's not the highest it's been in 6 months, clearly, but we're kind of seeing the high for the last 3 months, which always makes me nervous about giving this recommendation. You never want to buy on a high, but given that it's going to be reporting its revenue and it's consistently beat its revenue and oil prices are up, I think that it's a very safe bet to buy and then sell shortly after reports here on Wednesday. And the last one that we have here is a weird one. I will not even pretend to lie. You are looking at the one, the only Bark Incorporated. Bark is a dog company. It sells products for dogs. It is looking like it's going to have another positive return on its quarterly report. It actually made a profit for the first time ever in its last quarter report. It's up quite a bit today, which again, that always makes me nervous. You never want to buy at a high, and this is kind of a high, but it's going to be reporting its revenue on Wednesday. So I would honestly keep an eye out for this, see if the price drops tomorrow, and then buy it. And odds are it's going to increase in price around that Thursday, and you can turn around and sell it. This is a little more out on the limb, a little more risk here. So again, because this has gone up by a lot today, wait for it to probably drop in price tomorrow, just as a response, kind of like a bounce back. And then you'll probably see it jump up when its reports are high again for its revenue, especially coming after Christmas season when so many people get the new pets of the new year or like Christmas pet packets. That's all going to be in this last quarter's report. So I really think that it's a safe bet to say that they're going to beat their revenues and be profitable for the first time in the second time in a row. That's never the best sentence to start out with, but this one is a little bit more risky, but definitely an interesting one to keep an eye out for. All right, guys, so that's week 3. So just to review, we are doing our spicy bark this week. We're looking at Evolution Petroleum. Our safe bet, as always, is Pfizer. And Peloton is our 4th and final stock to kind of keep an eye out for. Definitely money to be made there, but be cautious when proceeding with it. Of course, there's also the lost stocks of On Semiconductors and Chegg. Would have been an easy 12% for me to snag and brag about in the thumbnail, but it's what I get for not putting the video out in time. Anyways, guys, as always, it's okay to be confused, but remember, keep learning.